Okay, so today we're going to do these little aspen trees. They could be called birch trees as well. I really don't have a photograph of them because I've been doing them so long that I sort of make them up. So, but it's always a good idea to do 3 or 5 or something like that. So I'm just going to draw a tree here. And you noticed that I didn't, I'm just dragging my hand along, okay? And I'm going to make the snow line about here. And then this will be the little snow that goes across. And then we kind of want a mama, a papa, and a baby. So I'm going to put the baby closer. You see here I'm dragging my hand along. I'm dragging my hand along the paper, right? That's the baby because that's littler. We're not ending it at the same place that we did this one, did we? All right, so we've got the mama, the baby, and over here will be the papa, who looks like he has a little bump on him that probably shouldn't be there. So let's take that off, okay? And he's going to be the biggest tree. He'll have a little branch down here, and then we'll go up here. We'll put more branches on eventually, okay? But we're not going to start out with a bunch of them. You're really going to like this as a fun lesson. Okay, so here's how this tree is going to go at the bottom. So first, with these trees, you start with the background. And the good news is you're going to go from here to here to here to here. We're going to do them one at a time. So first of all, I'm going to wet. Oh, and I have to have my salt at the ready because we're going to salt this, and the salt eats away at the paint and takes it up so it looks like it's snow. Okay? So that's pretty wet. So I'm now going to get Antwerp blue, which I love, and then I'm going to get some burnt sienna, and I'm going to make a little dark color here. This is supposed to look like evergreen trees. Okay? Now these are going to be just loose little trees. Okay? Right there. And then we're going to kind of come down, kind of make this a nice little edge down here. Okay, so now, right now, you don't wait. You put salt. If I can only open this. You put salt on here. Okay? So you just salt it. Now you leave, now you come back down and you're going to use French ultramarine over here. That's also a blue. Well, where on earth is it? Oh, there it is. You're going to use this with a little brown. And this is going to be your stormy looking sky. Okay? Now that's too blue. Can you see that's too blue? So now, and all this time, I'm drying up here. So I have to kind of hustle along here. So I'm not going to take it clear down to the tree, right? And now I'm just going to kind of lose this edge here. This looks like there's a big burst of something coming through here. Can you see all that water? I'm just a little out of control. Okay, now we're going to put on some more salt. Okay? I think I might want to bring this down just a little bit more, not too much, because I like it away from that tree. Okay, now, look here. We're watering this here. All right? And we're going to do the same thing. Now, if you're not careful, what will happen is you'll have added too much water to your tree thing here. Now, let's make these a little taller. Okay? A little bit taller. And here again, where they're coming down this bottom here, you don't want to have it too rough. You want to have it relatively smooth. And so we're going, and it doesn't look too tree-like right now, but I think it's going to when we're further along. So now I'm going to just, oops, look at all the green I'm carrying there. I'm just kind of putting a little bit more salt in it. I'm going to come back over here. Now look how we've lost a lot of pigment there. So we're going to have to pump it up a little bit and add some more burnt sienna and some more French. Okay? And now we're going to come along here. Looks a little darker than what I had over here. And it also looks like I've got a little something else in it. Maybe I'm carrying some Antwerp in my brush. I probably should have thought about clean water, but obviously I didn't. Okay, so here's another little bit of the sky. Now we're going to come down here. See, if I've not gotten clean water, you can see just a touch of green in here. It's not the most horrible thing in the world, but you really don't want to. It would have been a good idea if I would have had two little things of water over here, one for dirty water and one for clean water. Okay, so here we are. Here's some more trees. And occasionally, I'll throw another tree in there. Now see, that's not even. So you want to make it even. Not even, but I mean just smoother. So you know how snow lines are pretty smooth. So now we're going to put the snow on there. I had planned on putting another color tree in there, but I obviously didn't get it done. Okay, so we're going to do this. Here we come with this water, or this sky. And I frequently leave a little bit of light coming from one side or the other. It seems to give it more movement. I've kind of gone onto my tree here, which I didn't really plan on doing, but it's okay. Now I'm going to put some. See, and if you do, what you can do if you're going to try to do this along with me, after you have all of your paint together, just do this side, then stop the video, and then get yours right, and then come to the next little area, come to the next little area. That way you can get it all done. So here we go again. And as you can see, there's just a little tinge of blue in there, and that's me having dirty water. It's not imperative that you have, oh, I was going to do something a little different over here, wasn't I? Okay, so here's one tree. Now we're going to do something, we're deviating from our norm. Okay, and that's really, as we go down, it's really getting pretty light. So I have to be careful. Now I'm going to get some cerulean blue. And that looks like a, now look at that. That's going to be a different tree. That's going to be maybe a spruce tree. Okay? Be a little spruce in there. I wonder if I should have put one over here next to it. It's a little dangerous to try to sneak another tree in at this point, but I'll give it a go. Just try to get one in. Okay, now we got it. Oops, where's our water? That's another thing. You don't want to forget to put your salt on, because if you do, you're not going to get the one real fun little snow things that look like little snowflakes. Okay, we're going to come here. I'm relatively close on my colors. So we'll take this down to here. Do you see that little bit of white? We're going to take it down to here, and then we're just going to do a little bit below it. So it looks like it's coming like this, dancing right across the page. Okay? So now we're going to let that dry. I'm going to look at a couple areas and be sure that I'm up close enough to my tree. That's the only place that I really wasn't. So now, can you see how this is starting to eat away? That's kind of a fun thing. So now we're going to wait a minute, and we're going to start putting things onto the tree. We're going to start doing these things. I prefer to wait a little bit more, but I think that no one's here to turn off the video to let it dry. So we'll just press ahead. Okay, and see, this is kind of a browny black. It has to be relatively thick. It's not like when we did the sky color and it was real, loose and we didn't have too much paint on it. Now, when we're going to go into the tree shape, and it's a good idea if you practice this on another sheet of paper. So let's do this. Let's pull this other piece of paper down and okay, we're going to get a credit card. This is one of my old credit cards. My husband loves credit cards like this that cannot be used for anything except art. You can use this side, or this side. Stop it. We're going to take a break here and let this. Okay, so I took a short break and I dried this with a hair dryer. Now, you cannot leave the salt on your painting or it will continue to eat through your paper. So you take the smoothest side of your credit card and you just scrape. Notice I'm not scraping toward the snow, the whiter area, okay? So you just do this and hopefully you have a trash can someplace close to put it in the trash can. I'm just gonna not do that for a while here. I'm just going to put it over there for now. Okay, now what we're going to do, I'm going to set this over here for a minute over that other painting, and I'm going to show you how we do credit card trees. So let's just put some trees here. This is going to be your practice sheet. So I'm sure in all of your stuff you've got pieces of paper that don't have anything on them, or the back of something that you don't really care if you keep. All right? So what we're going to do, remember I was telling you that you needed to have this a little thicker consistency over here. Can't be all real watered down. That's pretty brown, which I don't really mind too much. So we're just going to set this there, and we're going to get, all right, now you don't put it like this, you put it like this, and you go, now is that the coolest thing in the entire world? And then you come up here. Now, if your mix is too watery, it'll just be a straight thing. You never want to go straight. Okay, that's a flat tree. There are no flat trees. They're all round. So then you come over here, and I would suggest, and I went a little too far there, I would suggest that you practice this a couple of times before you go on your good piece of paper. Okay? And I just noticed that there's one brush that I didn't bring up, my rigger, but we'll do something with that. Okay, so, and I'll even show you a little bit on this. So then you can take like cerulean blue or something, and you can come down, too wet. You can come down the middle of the tree, okay? Now we're not doing this on our good paper yet. You could get a little bit of yellow ochre, and you could put a little bit of that there. Look how pretty that looks. Or burnt sienna. See? And I'm not going out to the edges because we're going to say that these are backlit. Okay? So you could come down here with this. Okay? So that's kind of where you are with that. That's our practice piece. So I'm setting that back to the side, and now we're getting back to this. So it's totally dry. So we're good to go on making more of our, are we timing, Mike? Timing? No? We're trying to get this a certain length so you guys won't snore off and get bored or anything. We don't want that. So we're trying to time it. Okay, now we're getting another bit here. I think you can see what I'm doing. And then here again. And on better paper, this is better paper. This is 140-pound rough, and it's oh my gosh, what is it? Fabriano Artistico is what this is. And the reason I like this is that it's very white. But later on, we'll try now. It's not working very well up there. So what I'm going to do is get my teeny brush, and this is really not the brush I would normally use. I would normally use a rigger, which is also called a script liner. But in doing this, you can get a little bit of blue and a little bit of brown, and then you'll make one of the rings, one or two of the rings that go around trees. Or you'll do something like this. This is where the elk and animals come along and try to rip the bark off. And at the bottom of your tree, you want some of this same burnt sienna and French ultramarine, and that's too blue. And you make this little darkness at the bottom. And if you look at trees, these kind of trees at least, out in public, you'll see that they have this. If you want, you could lose a little edge there, but not too much. Okay? Okay, now what we need to do, after we did our little practice, remember our practice, this was how we were practicing, then we did it on here. Now we're going to get a brush and we're going to run a little bit of paint down the middle like this. Okay, and then we're going to let's pick up a little bit of burnt sienna, not much, and bring it down. See how fun that is? Now remember, we're trying not to go over the edge. Obviously, I didn't listen to my own advice. So let's do another one. And in the meantime, I cut this one down. I cut another one down. And so we're going to use same colors again, French and burnt. And see how thick that is? That's not a light little wash. That's kind of thick. So it'll stay where you put it. All right. Now this is a smaller credit card. You don't use the cut side. You only use this side, or this side. Now we're going to use the little side because this is a littler tree. And this looks like it's maybe a little too wet, but maybe it'll be all right. Now see, I don't like it when it does that. And what that means is it's too wet. So it has to be stiffer. Paint has to be stiffer, thicker. Okay, so now we're getting it again. And we're staying at an angle. And I really do urge you to practice on this because it's just too easy to mess up. And then you'll get mad at yourself and say, why didn't I do that? While it's wet right now, this minute, let's go ahead and drag some of the cerulean down the middle. And look how it makes the other color bleed. Isn't that fun? I kind of like it to do that. Okay, and then here at the bottom, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to make the dark part at the bottom. Okay? So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and finish. We'll go ahead and finish these. I've got a medium-sized brush here. Okay, so we're now doing the last one. We're going to make it thick. See, there's a lot of paint there. It just doesn't work if you do it any less than this. If you don't have it as thick as this, it just simply won't work. And it's so irritating when you think you got it going for you and then it doesn't work. Okay, let's just, yeah, see that's a good, this is browner. Ooh, and look, I'm not going up very far, am I? Remember when I said to not do that? Okay, let's put some more paint in here. So thick. And do it again. And here we go. Sometimes it just does it so well, and you just love that moment when it does it correctly. When it drags just the right amount of drag. Okay, so now remember I went for a brush. This is the brush. This is a rigger. This particular rigger is Robert Simmons. See the long little bristles here? This is a number 2. You can get a 0, you can get a 1, a 2, or a 3. Don't go over a 3. Oh wait, we still have to pull the stuff down the middle, don't we? Okay, so here, let's just come over here and, oh, how much paint am I using? Way too much. Okay, it's an awful lot. Now we'll get a little bit of maybe yellow ochre and a little bit of burnt. And we'll go back to the cerulean. This, you don't want it to look too spumoni-ish, but you want it to look good. All right, so now we're just going to come down here and put the dark in here. And that has to dry. Now, while that's drying, and you can, if you want to come along here and lose an edge to soften if you think it looks too harsh in some areas. But let's get our rigger. And here's the deal. You have to make your color ahead of time because your little tiny rigger simply cannot mix paint. It's just too skinny. So I usually put my brush in the water first, and then I come along here. Now you see that's going to be really loose. And so you just come here. And here again, this is another thing. Practice these before you put them on. Now don't leave him just stuck there like you just took a piece of paper and stuck him on the tree. You have to lose the bottom part of it. Okay? If you want to make it a little darker there and oozle down a little, that's okay. Now you can see this tree is further back than this tree. So that means that if you are to put a branch on it, say let's put a branch here, that branch has to go behind this tree, doesn't it? You can't put it over it because then you'll be confused as to where it is. You also have to be careful not to do this on one side and the same thing on the other, and then you have an elk or some kind of a deer, which you don't want. Okay? So there's some more little things. If you want to get cutesy, which I have in the past occasionally, I know you find that hard to believe, but you can put your initials on the tree. You can put your initials plus somebody. Or maybe over the years that got, went away. So you can do that if you like. That's just kind of fun if you're going to give it to somebody for Christmas and you want them to know that you like them. Okay, so this little guy in the middle doesn't have any branches yet, but he needs a couple. So we'll just do a little one right here. And look, it can go back over the tree. Okay? And then we'll maybe put one. Now these, because I've done a lot of them, it kind of looks like it's easy. And it is, but you have to practice them. You have to go on to this page here, and you have to do a few little things like this, huh? So you have to practice. You just can't, you just don't automatically know that, okay, and you lose the edge here and you lose the edge here. But practice, do this. It's important, and you'll have a lot more success with your painting if you do that. So, and I told you not to mix with this brush, and here I lied to you, and I'm doing it myself. I'm only doing it because I have fresh paint out. Always use fresh paint, guys. You always have to put fresh paint out. If you don't, you're going to be so sorry and so mad at yourself. Now, I have a branch here, but look, I have a branch there. So maybe I don't want to have a branch coming down there. So I'll show you how you can go ahead and put it on here, and then okay, now what do I need to do right now? I need to come in here, and I have to lose this piece right here. Then it lives on the tree. It's not my most branch, is it? But anyway, we'll kind of try to straighten him up a little bit. So that's a big old branch, isn't it? And if you think that you've overdone and made it too dark or something, just come in here and use a Kleenex and pick it up a little bit. You know, pull it up off the paper a little bit. And then we'll do some more of these things. It's a little bit damp, this page, or this tree is a little bit damp. So we'll kind of try to just do some stuff like this. And, okay, and I'll show you over here how you can fix this. You can just, let's get our eraser, and this is a kneaded eraser, and we're just going to erase that little bit. We're going to put a little bit of water right here, and then we're just going to get a little color, not too much, and we're just going to kind of put it over that area. Looks like we need a little more blue in there, doesn't it? So that's it. That's taken care of. And then you get your, I'm looking for it here. You hit the salt again with it, okay? So now down here at the bottom, and here again, you'll need, if you need to draw how you're going to do your dips, then draw them on. I don't have one pencil over here that isn't broken. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is going to be a dip. I really don't need to draw my dips in, but I'm doing it for you. Okay, so you need to get your cleanest water, and you're going to use cerulean blue. That's way, way too much blue. See, now look how wet this is. Okay, and I want a little touch of sepia in here. And boy, don't put too much sepia. That's all you put. Okay, then you come here, and you go like this, and you get clean water again, and you lose the top edge. Okay, you don't want to see the top edge anymore. Okay, so here's another one. Let's put this one over here. So we're going to do this. We can just go into this one because that one's so close. So here we are, and then we're going to get the clean water again, and we're going to lose this top edge. We're going to do the same thing next to it, and we're going to lose the top edge. If you go down too far and get too close to this, it looks like a worm at the bottom of your tree. Don't do that. Okay, so here we go again. We're going to do this one up here, and this one's we're probably going to take this one almost up to the line of the snow. Okay, so we're going to do that. So this looks pretty good. I'm kind of happy with it. Now, is there anything else we need to do? Well, I generally do a little flicking. I usually put a weed or two in here. So here again, I'm going to dry this real quickly. Okay? Okay. Now the little dips are now dry. So we're going to use our rigger, and we're going to get a little bit of yellow ochre. And this is kind of fun. You're going to come in here, and you're going to put a weed. And then you're going to put a weed like this. Then you're going to get the dark and you're going to drop it in here at the base of the weed, and that tucks it down into the ground. I don't know if this needs to be a little darker. Maybe I'll put a little bit of burnt sienna or something. I'll just put a little bit of this moss that I've got down here. So that looks pretty fun. And be careful not to do something like this at the base of your tree. Okay, nothing like this, because it ends up looking like you have a giant tarantula hiding behind the tree. Don't do that. If you're going to do this, come out here and go like this. Do something like this, but don't do on either side of the trees identical. And it's amazing how you sometimes will do something like that trying to be symmetrical. Okay? So we'll do maybe one or two more. I'm going to use a little bit more burnt sienna in this one. And this one's going to go behind the tree. How about that? Let's just stick it over there. Now I'm going to get a little bit of burnt sienna. And I don't know if you remember from the other video of the, and see, I'm going to hold it on my finger here. And I'm going to go like this. Okay? Because weeds do funny things. And so really, that's kind of it. And you can do this in a painting, or you can do a single tree. Okay, here's a single tree. So I'm going to move those both, and I'm going to show you how nice this looks with a little frame on it. This frame doesn't fit it exactly, but it'll be close enough. So, and this makes a wonderful gift for somebody. When I first learned how to do this, these trees, years and years and years ago, I gave them to everybody that would stand still. And so I've got probably 50 or 60 people in Dallas, Texas that have my aspen trees because I gave them away. I was so proud. This is a very successful painting, and you'll find that you'll have a lot of success with it too. So, till the next time, this is Laura, and goodbye.